Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So, I want to talk about people who try to come on this YouTube channel and they try to bash Exoticals. And I saw one comment the other day, that person got blocked, but she was like, um, a lot of these girls who are saying that they're pretty, or the girls who are commenting on the pretty privilege videos, they're not showing themselves and they're not showing their faces on YouTube. And I've noticed that a lot of people who are insecure about their own looks, or people who want to put down your looks, they have this mindset of prove to me that you're pretty. And I know that this is something a lot of you guys have gone through, where people might make backhanded comments towards you, whether it's on the internet or in real life. They'll be like, she's not that pretty, or she's not even that beautiful, or she's not all that, or I haven't decided if she's cute yet. A lot of people, they don't want you to have control over your own self-perception. They don't want you to be able to determine within yourself that you're beautiful. They want to be able to tell you whether you're beautiful or not, and they want to be able to tell you, no, actually, I can tell that you're feeling yourself. I can tell that you are confident and you think you're a 10. So I'm going to tell you that you're an adjustable 6 because I want you to feel like a 6. I want your self-esteem to be lower. I don't want you to think that you are that beautiful. I don't want you to think that you are a 10 out of 10 because I only think I'm a 5. And so I don't want you to think that you're more than a 5, because if you think you're more than a 5 and I only think I'm a 5, that means you think you're better than me. Has anyone ever noticed how whenever people say you think you're better than me, they can't describe any scenarios where you actually said I am better than you? All they can describe is you basically being confident and loving yourself, or thinking that you're beautiful. Some people will even go as far as to say, oh, you think you're cute, as if thinking you're cute is a bad thing. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to think that I'm ugly? Am I supposed to think that I'm basic? Am I supposed to think that other people are all cuter than me? Like, how am I supposed to think? And why do you get to determine what I think of my own beauty? I'm not insulted if another girl says, I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. I'm actually not offended by that. You know why? Because she is the main character in her world. She should be the main character in her world. She should be the only girl in her world, or like the main girl, or basically the queen or the princess of her own life and her own world. So why do people have such a problem if you as a woman view yourself as pretty? I've noticed the only time people have a problem is when they agree with you being pretty. They agree that you are prettier than them. They agree that you're a 10. They agree that you're a 10 out of 10. And so they get mad because they only view themselves as a 6 out of 10. And that's where they get this talking point of, you think you're better than me. You think you look better than me. You think you're prettier than me. Well, the bottom line is there will always be people in this world who probably think they look better than you. But number one, why do I care what other people think of themselves, or why do I care what other people think of me? Like, if some white girl thinks she looks better than me because she is white, first of all, I can't control her thoughts. Secondly, I don't care because I don't believe that. The only people that would get offended is if you agree. You do think that white girl looks better than you. You do think that mixed girl looks better than you. You do think that that quote unquote light skinned girl looks better than you. And so that's the real reason that you're upset. It's not the fact that they think those thoughts. It's the fact that you agree with their thoughts. It's the fact that you agree that she is cute. And that's why you're mad that she thinks she's cute. But I've noticed for the person that commented on my channel and they were like, oh, these girls who are commenting on this channel, if they're so pretty, they need to show themselves. No, actually they don't. People don't have to prove their beauty to you. People don't have to prove how good they look to you. You are not the queen of the world. You don't get to determine my beauty level or another woman's beauty level. You don't get to control another person's self-perception. And I've noticed that people who are insecure and people who are jealous of your beauty, or people who are jealous of your confidence, they want to be able to tell you how confident you should be. They want to be able to tell you what your skin tone is. They want to be able to tell you if you're mixed or not, if you're pretty or not, if you're good enough or not. And here on this YouTube channel, guess what? We have control over our own self-perceptions. We get to call ourselves by whatever names we see fit, whatever name describes our racial background the most accurately, or whatever we feel describes our skin tone the most accurately. And guess what? We also get to celebrate our beauty here. And we don't have to prove our beauty to anyone else, especially people who are not even a part of our community, people who try to come in here and and infiltrate, and they're basically jealous of the channel. They're jealous of the space that we've created for ourselves because a lot of people looked down on mixed people, or they thought that they'd always be able to use mixed women or women who look mixed as their emotional punching bags. For a long time, we have been just kind of like this subgroup of the Black community, or kind of this out group. So especially if you look mixed, but let's say you have a very high amount of African ancestry, let's say you're 80% Black, 85% Black, but you happen to look like Tyra Banks. There has not been a space for you in so long, to the point where a lot of other women who are maybe jealous of your Tyra Banks looks, they have been able to successfully gang up on you and bully you and kind of give you almost this sense of body dysmorphia, or make you feel like you don't have a place. And so now that this channel is growing, and now that we do have our own space, and now that we do have a collective thought process within ourselves, and we are starting to develop our own collective talking points. Like on this channel, we voted on what color we believe is light skin. We voted on that on this channel because thousands of us have been able to come together and say, hey, this is my Fenty shade and this is my experience. And we have been able to chat amongst ourselves about what all of our experiences are. And so that's been a very powerful thing. Like now we have our own thought processes as our own separate group, at least on YouTube. And I've noticed that some people, they are jealous of that safe space that we now have, because now I can't make you my emotional punching bag anymore. Now I can't bully you anymore. Now I can't make light skin jokes against you anymore, because you actually have a group of people that you can go and vent to who are going to agree with you. A lot of times people loved to isolate us from one another, or they would make all of us feel like we're delusional. Like, oh, you're not even that cute. You're not even that light skin. You're not even that pretty. Oh, shut up. You're not even showing yourself. So if you were really pretty, you'd be showing off your beauty. First of all, that's a stereotype. Not every person who is pretty is constantly showing off their beauty. So that shows that not only are you most likely not pretty, no offense, or maybe you don't view yourself as pretty, but you are so far removed from pretty privilege or pretty people to the point where you are ignorant enough to stereotype all beautiful people as showing off their beauty. Like, oh, I'm beautiful, so let me just post all my pictures everywhere and show myself in a bikini 24/7. Not every pretty girl does that. Pretty girls are not a monolith. You can have a different personality. Some pretty girls are introverts. Some pretty girls are extroverts. Some pretty girls love social media. Other pretty girls don't really like social media. So just because a pretty girl does not meet your stereotype of how a pretty girl should act, oh, you need to be showing your face everywhere. You need to be plastering your face all over the media, all over YouTube, all over this. No, just because you would do that if you were pretty, which obviously you're not based on your talking points, just because you're not doing that, it doesn't mean that somebody who's pretty has to do that. Have you ever noticed that people have this obsession, like this thing where they are living vicariously through a woman that they view as pretty, but they don't want to admit that? They'll just be like, oh, well, if you were really pretty, you'd be able to wear your hair like this. You'd be able to wear your makeup like this. If you were really pretty, you'd be able to wear no makeup. And it's like, no, just because that's what you would do, guess what? You don't live in my body. You don't live in the body of the people who are on this channel. So you don't get to determine how we can view ourselves. Some women, they like protecting their privacy. Some women, they don't need to show themselves because guess what? They already believe that they are beautiful within themselves. So they don't have to prove themselves to anyone. They don't even have to, show themselves or wear a certain outfit or like do different behaviors that you think they should be doing. But have you guys ever noticed this? Have you ever noticed that other people want to be able to determine how you should see yourself? So other people, they want to be able to say, nope, I get to decide whether or not you're mixed. I get to decide whether or not you're light skinned. I get to decide whether or not you're pretty. And that's because that person puts all three of those things on a pedestal. If you don't pedestalize something, you wouldn't care about policing it. Like, I don't police other women. I don't care that Precious says that she's beautiful and that, she feels like she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Or I don't care if other actresses or random women say, I'm the most beautiful woman. I'm the baddest bee ever. I don't care if other women say that. You know why? Because I don't pedestalize being the baddest woman ever. And also, I don't feel threatened if another girl thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the world. I genuinely don't feel threatened by that. You know why? Because she is living in her world. I'm living in my world. So that's okay. Two things can be true at the same time. She can be the baddest girl in her world and I can be the baddest girl in my world. She can call herself pretty and I can call myself pretty as well. So it's not something that I pedestalize and it's like I'm fighting over a trophy or fighting over some crown. But some people view skin tone as a competition. They view light skin as a competition. Whoever is lighter is better. And then other people view beauty as a competition. Whoever is prettier is better. Whoever has more people calling them pretty is the prettiest. And, they are higher up on this social hierarchy. I remember when I was in high school, I had this one friend. Well, she was more like a friend to me. And she would walk around and ask people, who do you think is prettier? Do you think I'm prettier, or do you think Exoticals United is prettier? So she had this competition sort of mindset where, however many people validate my beauty or however many people validate her beauty, that determines your ultimate beauty. But not everyone has that mindset. I have a mindset of, no, guess what? I'm the only one who is living in my body. I'm the only one who is dealing with my self-esteem. So I get to determine how high I want my self-esteem to be. I get to determine what I think of myself, and I can decide to live my life as if I believe that I'm beautiful, regardless of what other people say, or, without having to prove myself to others or prove my beauty to others. I don't have to go around and say, do you think I'm pretty, or do you think so-and-so is pretty, or do you think this other person is pretty, or you need to prove your beauty to me by showing me how you look. Let me see what you look like with no makeup, with no weave. Let me see what you look like when you're fat, when you're skinny, in the summer, in the winter. Let me examine your skin tone. Like, why is everybody suddenly the beauty police when all you've done is go into a safe space and maybe talk about your experiences with other women who can relate to you? Have you guys noticed that? Like, since this channel is growing and since we actually have a legit community now, like a legit online community, people are suddenly trying to argue with the subscribers. Like, I've seen people on Lipstick Alley trying to dox certain subscribers, or trying to show their faces and stuff and be like, this is what they look like. And they're trying so hard because people are so threatened by the fact that we are all not delusional. 10,000 people who all have a similar experience with a similar group of people, we can't all be delusional. We can't all be making this up. Just like how a lot of unambiguous Black women, they're not making up colorism, right? They're not just all making it up in their heads. Obviously, that has been their experience, and I can't argue with their experiences. But just like how I can't argue with their experiences, guess what? You also can't argue with mine. And you also can't argue with the experiences of the women in the comments section. So that's why on my community page, I had to have a whole vote where we voted on what we are going to call light-skinned on this channel, because it was based on all of our experiences. Because I feel like all of our experiences do matter. We can't all be delusional. We can't all be making stuff up. But anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.